Alright, this is going to be a genuine how-to video. And we are dealing with the TSD files. I've rehearsed this once, and then I actually recorded another time and accidentally got distracted and didn't export the MP3 of my voice recording, so we're really going to nail this. We're dealing with the TSDs, the track surface details. It's the stuff you'll see in the infield at the tracks and on the apron at certain tracks. And you see, this is one I put into the game a few years ago before I had no idea what I was doing. And it got the job done at the time, but we can make this look spectacular. So we're gonna go do that. Now, if you well, we might as well just start at the very beginning here. If you want to do this to any of the tracks in your version of NR2003, you grab WinMip 2. Just search WinMip 2 NR2003. You'll be able to find it. It also helps to download MIP Explorer right here. So the first thing you would do is you would open up WinMip 2, make sure NR2003 is selected up here. It's the wheel or the tire, and you would go to unpack, go find your track, and you would unpack the .dat file, the DAT file, and then it would give you this unpack folder. That's an error because I didn't pick anything after the dialog box opened. And you would use MIP Explorer to go to the track, go to unpack, and you can see everything you're looking for. And we're looking for TSD, grass, and NASCAR right there. Now, we're going to the track folder and to find that TSD, grass, NASCAR. There it is right there. Always, always, always write these numbers down. I keep them in a big spreadsheet so I don't lose track of everything. But we'll see later in this video that I tend to bend the rules some when it comes to these TSD files. You'll see what I mean here in a second. But you'll take this and save it as a bitmap. Or you can save it as a TGA too, I think. But bitmap, I've never had a problem just saving to bitmap. And you would have TSD grass NASCAR. I'm deleting it because I've already have all this set up. And now we're in your photo editing software of choice. I use Affinity Designer. This is more of like a vector art kind of program. And I also have Affinity Photo, which is, you know, like Photoshop GIMP kind of thing. So here is our logo that we're putting in to replace the Winston Cup one that looked like trash. And a lot of times when you download or take stuff from the game, it'll have a magenta pink kind of background. This is the transparency color. And if you watched the Pocono video, you heard me obsessing about transparent pixels, semi-transparent pixels, they're called. And you can see the pink through this. And I'm first going to do this one so you can see what's going on, why you have to worry about transparent pixels. This is 91023. I've done this plenty of times by now. I must not have my number locked. There it is. 91023. Saving that MIP, and then you go find your the track folder, and you can just drop it right into the main track folder where the .dat file was. And as far as I've been able to understand it, you drop something in that main folder and it will use that over anything that is in the .dat file. That's my understanding of it. And here we go. We put our NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series logo into the game. We thought it was going to be great, but we have the pink. And what that is all, it's all the transparent pixels. That's why I was focusing around the edges, but then unless it's 100% solid, there were the ones above, you know, on top of the logo and everything, we couldn't even see those, that there were semi-transparent pixels up there because they were so faint. So that's why it can be a headache when you're like, what the heck is going on here? But there's a way to fix this. There's multiple ways to fix this. One way, if you know what I'm talking about right now with alpha, with semi-transparent pixels, that has to deal with alpha channels, and alpha is just what the word used for transparency in graphic design programs. If you already know what I'm talking about, then you probably know how to fix it that way. I'm going to show you the jobber turd easy way to fix this. Now, the logical way to attack this is to say, hey, okay, when we import this into the game, we have a pink background around this. How are we going to fix this? One way to do it is, instead of using pink as the transparency color, use a color that closely resembles the outer border of your logo. In this case, I'm not even sure how well this will show on YouTube, but I have a black that is just slightly different than the black that is surrounding the entire logo. And again, this solution works if you have that same color surrounding the entire logo. You'll see what this looks like. I'm going to, and also you shift left click on the transparency color, the invis color, the invisible color. So I just did that, and I gotta learn. I'm gonna be in Michigan a couple more times here. I gotta stop closing out that track folder. I opened up my film thing. Okay. So this is going to be one solution to this. And you see there's no pink anymore. And how close you want to get to this to inspect it, you know? I mean, we got a nice logo in the game. We don't have to worry about pink backgrounds. And it's hard to even find where that other black is now, you know? So we did the job. But again, that only works if you have that same color around the outside. That's why probably when I do a lot of logos going forward that I know I want to put into the infield, I'm just going to have a black outline, at least just, you know, a 3-pixel outline of black around it, so then I can use that black trick. But now, say this isn't all black. And we are going to use, or no, we probably don't even have to use another logo. We can actually, I'm looking for, this will work. We'll be showing these later in the video. The Texas stuff. So now, say you don't have black all around this. Say there's 2 or 3 different colors. Maybe this is like a rainbow situation where it bleeds to all these different colors around the outside. How would you do it that way? You might already know where I'm going with this. You change it. You go just eyedrop some grass. Get a grass color. And instead of the logo meeting the grass will meet the logo. I'm trying to put it that way. Should have just made these before recording, if we're being honest. I'm getting quicker. made a little bit of a shortcut to free camera, so it's a little bit faster to get there. And not 100% sure how this is going to look, because I just winged it on eyedropping it. That green. So you can see that green now around it. And you could always perfect this, find a much better shade of green to use, as long as the green, I didn't mention this, as long as the transparency color isn't in your logo somewhere. Because say this puke green was actually the same, pretty much the same exact shade as this red, all this red would be transparent, and you could see to the grass below it. Because you're picking the color that will be transparent in that picture you're putting into the game. So there are many, many shades of green, and I mean, you'll be able to find something. Just like there are many shades of black. And, you know, this green outline, it's obviously noticeable. It's better than the pink. So that's the way to fix that stuff. It's really easy. Now, I was talking earlier about MIP values and how I want to bend the rules some. We're going to start bending the rules some. Look at how, you know, there's this logo we put into the game. It's fantastic. Let's run a race, but it's just jagged. It's not crisp. So let's put a crisp logo into the game. And what we will be doing there is you always want to match the dimensions of what you took out of the game. Those are the dimensions that you want to put back into the game. This is 512 by 256. But we're going to bend the rules some, and we're going to double this size to 1024 by 512. There you go. And I mean, I'm able to use that black around here, so I'm going to. Now keep in mind, this does not increase the size of the logo in the game. You can see it's twice as big, obviously, as what we've been dealing with to this point. But it's not going to be twice as big. It's just going to look better. Now, here's the bending the rules part. We've been dealing with 9.10.2.3 the whole way so far. Now when we import or bring this bitmap into the into WinMip, we are defaulted with 10 up here. I don't know exactly what these numbers mean. Mystical at Armory Digital Racing Designs has a pretty in-depth tutorial and just a lot of information about how WinMip and MIPS work. But I mean, I still don't know why this changes. Here's type 10, type 11. I don't know why it changes from 9 to 10 like this, because we made it bigger. But the first time I did this, I was like, I'm going to wing it. And we've been dealing with 9.10.2.3, and I just say, hey, I'm going to match those, at least match most of the numbers, and then use an invisibility color here. If you're well-versed in WinMip and you know exactly what's going on with those numbers and why they changed, just please leave a message or leave a comment. We're all in this together. We all want to figure out what's going on. But for our purposes, we don't really have to know. I would really love to know exactly what's going on there. We changed the size of it or whatever. Now, you see what happened? I increased the size, and I wasn't actually anticipating this. We picked that black, and I may have actually eye-dropped closer to the logo than the actual black we're using. That's why that grass is transparent. So that was probably just an oversight on my part. And, oh, we don't have to do all that rigmarole. We can just go grab this now. And, oh, I think I eye-dropped that like a weirdo. I think I changed that black color. So we'll do this. This will be a little bit dark than what we've been dealing with. Or darker black outline than our first example of this black thing. But we'll be fine. If you know me, you know that even with this well-rehearsed 10.10.2.3, even with this well-rehearsed tutorial, some diarrhea was going to come through here, so that's no problem. To be expected. I factored it into it. So. When you start doing this, you're going to end up making these same little mistakes. It happens. I'm already over it. So here we go. We put that new crisp, or we increased the size by 2. You can see that black is a little more showing now because there was more of a contrast between that and the logo or the black in the logo. But now, zooming in, much crisper. We still have some weird stuff going on. And I'm content with that. I'm content with that Michigan logo. We're set. Next up, we're going to Texas. Again, you can use the green trick, the black trick, whatever you want to do. Or you can learn how to eliminate the semi-transparent pixels around a picture. Whatever your attack strategy is, it'll work. Now this track, we're going to change 2 things. We're going to change this NASCAR logo, and let's get a good look at this from above. That's like the perfect NASCAR logo. It's exactly how the NASCAR logo used to look. Dimensions wise, keep that in mind. And we're also going to change this Samsung Radio Shack race logo. And I wanted to get a good look at the edges around here before we change it. Do you see any green around the edges, like our grass trick? Maybe a little. You'll see why I'm talking about that. We're going to go find our Texas. And I already know where to go for these. We're grabbing 2 of them. Should have did this before the video, though. But since this is a tutorial how-to, 9.11.3.3, and you see there's a transparency map. I've learned that 11 and 7 are transparency maps. I think 5 is as well. I don't know what these numbers mean. I'm just trying to find patterns. And you'll see on the left, on the desktop, we're going to export this to bitmap. 2 things pop up. The actual bitmap, and then a transparency map. So we have the NASCAR. Now we're grabbing the logo, which is TSD event 9.11.3.3. Transparency map again. Bitmap. Save. And we got both things there now. And so now we'll open TSD event, and 2 things. One, I don't know what's going on with this asphalt kind of texture in the back. It's not asphalt because it's on grass. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it does that when you export some from the game. But take a look at the surrounding edges of the logo. It's the green. It's basically the same kind of trick. This is the logo that came with the game, and they're using the same kind of trick we used at Michigan, where we surround the logo with that green, you know. Maybe if this was all, and this is actually a perfect example because there's blue on the edge, there's white, there's black, there's a lot going on. So they use that trick, and we're going to use it as well. We have Texas Toast. This is our Texas race logo. We'll knock that out. And because, let's see, we'll do that. This might be, this green isn't perfect. We're going to see it show up. I've had some trial runs where I nail this green. Just guessing. You could always go into MIP Explorer, find the MIP grass file for the track, and just experiment that way as well. There's a lot you can do. All right, so we're exporting this to ping like we usually do. I haven't talked about the exporting yet. I've been doing it saying, oh, move to bitmap, open up paint and all this stuff, but I haven't been explaining that. So we have the logo done. Now the transparency map that we downloaded seems like it's pretty simple. Just you need a black background and have the logo itself be this white. So that's what we'll do. I've experimented, and that black doesn't even have to be black. It can be whatever color, but I just stick with the basics. And then however you do it in your program of choice, fill the color, or the logo color to white. Now before I sling and zing out of here, I am doing an _TI because that is the transparency map. Now, when you import into WinMip, it wants a 24-bit bitmap picture. My Affinity Designer, it doesn't let me do that. It doesn't let me export in 24-bitmap, but Paint does. So every time I gotta go into Paint and convert these to bitmap. So we're in the home stretch here already. We're going to go find our TSD event. Always make sure the logo and the transparency map that you make for it are in the same folder. Whenever you import it into WinMip, it's looking for the transparency map, and it found it. And we're doing 9.11.3.3. I guarantee you, 10. If we switch this to 10, it's going to end. We're not going to have a transparency map anymore. We have an invisibility color. And I guarantee we could import this the same way and be fine with the invisibility color, but we are going to use the MIP values that came with the logo that we downloaded or took from the game, you know. So here's Texas. I'm going to go check this out. And I have no doubt in my mind that this is going to work. Oh, we have some new trucks on the track too, by the way. Walker Texas Ranger and Dwight Schrute. Walker Texas Ranger has been claimed. Somebody claimed him in the Kansas race. Also in Craftsman. I changed Craftsman on the windshield. But yeah, someone in that Kansas race claimed him. They just don't know it yet. So here you go. Here's the transparency map logo we put into the game. You can barely see the green around there, but it is around there because I tested that and I used hot pink as that background. Even with the instead of the green, I was iffy about behind the Texas logo. I used pink, and it showed in places. So I'm just being safe and used green. So that's fine. Next we'll attack that NASCAR logo up top, which we probably don't even have to at this point, because it's the same deal. So we're not even gonna do it, because you can put or actually we will. Hang on. Because I mentioned the NASCAR logo earlier. You can see this is flattened out. You can see that this isn't as symmetrical and proportionally perfect as the NASCAR logo was on the track earlier. Here you can see this is gonna be another transparency map situation, and they use the green again around the edges here. But we're going to do this and put this nice NASCAR logo in, and it would just be a bunch of trial and error to match the stretching that is done in the game to make it look proportionally accurate. I'm not exactly 100% sure what goes into that, like why it does that, this, that, and the other. I guarantee when we import this into the game, we're going to have a it's going to be taller than it should look, you know. So I'm using green against this just because the black is such an easy trick, and I'm actually sticking with the green because it's harder to nail sometimes the perfect green color to surround these. So slow down, NASCAR TI, and I mean we're just going through the motions here because we know this is going to work now. These are the two main things you need to know. A bunch of things so far that you need to know in this video about WinMip and how it works and how you should have the same MIP values, but sometimes you can bend the rules. 91133. And okay, well, put it this way. Trust me that would work like that. But let's change this and use the 10, for example, 33, and just see what happens. Like, this isn't even part of the tutorial. This is me experimenting here. Instead of using the transparency map that they gave us, we changed that one number in the MIP value. And we'll see what happens to this NASCAR logo. You get a lot of warnings say, hey, don't do this, don't change these MIP values. And I never really know why. I just wish I knew why you don't want to change those values. So we put this in, and again, we don't have a perfect grass situation around it. But you could also always change that to black. You could always go and take out the transparent pixels, semi-transparent pixels, whatever you want to do. But as I expected, you see how the logo's a little bit taller than what we've been dealing with. But, you know, far away, fantastic, awesome. So those are the ways, that's how you tackle TSD files. And it'll work with anything. And pretty much anything. Yeah, I'm not going to guarantee that it works with everything because I haven't tested everything ever. But part of my script for this was to change stuff in this at Bristol, like change the ZMax to something. But we already know what to do. Like you could follow this video and go find these things at Bristol and change them how we've been doing it, and it would work. Like, so I'm not going to do it. I mean, that's pretty much going to be the end of the video. I'm trying to think of anything I should touch on. If there is anything else, just anything else I remember, just check the comments or the description of the video. See if I forgot anything. We are going to be tackling Bristol here eventually, changing everything here. And sometime this week, I have our old officials. Don't worry about him being flipped. That's a whole thing we'll talk about. We'll take care of the series flaggers this week. What else do I want to do? But yeah, basically 99% of everything I've found in the game can be handled using the two methods I've shown here. As far as transparency, and there's also just regular old signs you can just change, but just match the MIP values. But this week we're doing the series flagger. We're also going to change these signs or this video board, and probably put like a broadcasting booth here. I still don't know. I have an idea. I think we're going to use PBS Sports, the public broadcasting station. We're going to use that as our flagship channel, but maybe make like the ESPN broadcast booth here and have the guys in there. I don't know. We'll experiment. But, I mean, that looks fantastic. This is what you want. That's how I want that to look. I've never found a way to make the actual logo bigger. It's something that's, I guess, just like hardwired into the track information that, hey, this can only take up this much space on the infield. But, you know, track creators go wild because we have, where's Charlotte? Right here. No, the free camera acts a little bit fishy in some of these tracks. Like I can't do it perfectly like I have been doing. I'm it just doesn't play ball. But look how huge this logo was that they put into this, the Charlotte they did. Now these are all, you know, no clean, no clear, no, these are just professional dudes, professional people that make these. And you can't see any edges around here, but you can see like the little jagged edges to that right there. And I think that's one of their tricks that they use, where they'll make sure those jagged edges are pixelated and they're done. They don't have to worry about the little edges and whatnot. I'm pretty sure that's the trick they used, not having to deal with it. But my turd jobber way I showed you in this video totally works as well. But that's it. Hope if you've been struggling with how to do this, hopefully this really helps you out, because that's probably the only reason you're watching this video, is you Googled on how to do this stuff. Not sure. I mean, this really covered everything that you would need to know about WinMip and messing with the MIP values and whatnot, and getting them out of the game, putting them back into the game. Pretty much everything else we're doing in the run-up to Season 2 of our Craftsman Truck series is just photo design work and whatnot. But okay, thanks for watching.